Hey guys, you're welcome to today's episode of the Viral Lagos podcast. I'm Osahon Kelvin, my friends call me Tello, and here we have with us on today's show, Muyiwa Alesh. Muyiwa, thanks for coming on the show.
Good to be here.
Thank you so much. This is the first edition of the Viral Lagos podcast, and we have Muyiwa running things for us. And today we're talking about influencer marketing and brand safety. I mean, that's a very important and a very, very crucial topic. Viral Lagos actually is a podcast dedicated to influencer marketing. So we want to discuss influencer marketing. It's a very hot and upcoming trend within the marketing space, especially digital, right? We'll talk about all that. But before we do all that, just tell us a bit about yourself. Tell us your career story, probably something nobody really knows, you know.
All right, great. Thanks again.
Yeah.
My name is Muyiwa Alesh. I like to describe myself as a student of life because I believe that we are all on a journey and we pick up skills and we are evolving as we go.
Yeah.
And my journey into marketing started out humble beginnings, right?
Yeah.
From the door-to-door sales to getting in an agency and having the opportunity to join digital when digital was actually peaking in this country.
Yeah.
My background is in science, actually.
Wow.
I studied biochemistry for my first degree.
Well, that's interesting.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I went further to do a master's in biochemistry and focusing on neurochemistry. I had this dream of curing madness or psychosis. and I went ahead to have a published work. I have a published work in a Journal of Medicine in Nigeria. And I was on the cusp of going for my PhD before marketing called.
So how did marketing call? What happened?
So I kind of stumbled into it. In school, I tried to fend for myself. And so I was the plug. I was helping people connect to.
So the guy that everybody knows.
So the middleman and all that stuff. So you want to do your project, if you want to get a phone, if you want to get a laptop. I was just the guy.
What school?
University of Lagos for my master's and University of Ilorin for my first degree.
You're a Western boy. Very interesting story right there. So you've grown in marketing over the years, and currently you're with Publicise Groupe, right?
That's correct.
Right. So so you can just tell us a little bit about that as well.
Yeah. So I'm director for digital and media in Publicise Groupe for CWA, Central West Africa region.
Yeah.
And it's a very, very interesting space to be in and an interesting company to be. Publicise is one of the biggest marketing agencies in the world. Obviously. So it's great to be at the cutting edge of technology, of the evolution of marketing communications and influencer management in this space, right? Yeah.
Talking about influencer marketing and brand safety, like I mentioned, brand safety is a very important topic in this space, right? So can you give us an instance where an influencer marketer kind of impacted in a brand's reputation? Can you give us a good scenario and give us a bad one as well?
Okay, good is easy. So there's this bank.
Okay.
Can I mention it?
No. You can if
all right. So the bank is VBank.
VBank, okay.
VBank came up at a time when banking industry was transforming at the time. Yeah. And I think I noticed at first that it was kind of tough to connect with the mass market. They were still they wanted to position the brand as a serious bank. Yeah. But they entered partnership with Don Jazzy.
Yeah.
And Don Jazzy did great things for the brand, right?
Amazing.
Connected with audiences, brought in that youth, right? Guys were opening accounts and we're proudly flaunting the brand.
I remember.
You remember that?
Yeah,
so
I remember.
That was a great example of a brand connecting with their audience using influencers in a very great way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean that's a very easy example. But can we say Don Jazzy is an influencer? Because this is something we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Sometimes you say, okay, this is an influencer. No, that's a celeb. All right. So I don't know. I know the answer in my heart, but I'm just asking you.
Yeah. So it's important that we understand what influencers are, right? what an influencer is someone that can influence somebody else to have an opinion or take action.
Yeah.
Right. And there are categories to this, right? You could be a mega influencer, means you have X amount of 100,000 followers and above. There are micro influencers and nano influencers. You are an influencer, right? The
Probably
person listening to this podcast is an influencer, right?
Yeah.
So let's debunk that thing, the celebrities. Yeah, I mean, right? It just depends on the number of people you have within the circle.
Yeah. So can you give us a bad one? That would be more difficult to share, but you can just maybe keep the details and just.
I would point it as this. I'll narrate it as this: the power of an influencer to have a negative effect on a brand.
Yeah.
And so that I can't say it out loud. The example is the Ronaldo Coke example.
Okay.
Right? Where Ronaldo was in a press conference, right? And there was a bottle of Coke on the table, and Ronaldo picked the bottle and dropped it like on the side or in the trash or something. And the next day, Coca-Cola shares dropped by 40-30%. And that just shows the power that influencers have positively on the brand, which we talked about with the Don Jazzy example, but also negatively, right, on the brand share prices and all of that stuff. So that's really the power of influencer marketing at play.
I mean, I wasn't even thinking about an example like that. But influencer could affect something as powerful as the bottom line of a company just by not by saying something about a company, but by his actions towards a brand itself. I mean, that's really, really powerful. The good example and the bad examples, those were very powerful examples.
Small businesses and enterprises can now receive borderless payments from customers anywhere in the world. Scrape is a crypto payment gateway that allows businesses to receive payments globally with cryptocurrency. Scrape allows you to collect payments on your website and app through our decentralized engine and gives you the ability to receive payments instantly into any wallet provider of your choice. You can also create a payment link and receive instant settlements, avoid long settlement cycles, and sign up on Scrape today. Join thousands of other Scrape users and begin to enjoy speedy service. Scrape is your crypto payment buddy.
Can we look at a situation where somebody did an ad or a campaign for a brand and they used a particular person, at the end of the day there was backlash? Does that happen?
Of course.
Have you had such an experience, or have you seen or heard?
Of course there are. First is, of course, there have been examples of that where the brand would have to pull that endorsement or sponsorship of the brand. There are examples. I would, for the sake of I'd refrain from saying it, but yeah, that does happen. Yeah,
so I think a very popular one is when an influencer is sort of attached or affiliated with a brand, then everything is going well and something happens. Maybe they were fighting in the club, or a video came out and a video leaked, and then the brand comes out to say, we're not doing anything with this person anymore, we're cutting off. I mean, so for brands who do not bother coming out with any statement, there are some brands that don't, right? They just rather just stay quiet. I mean, what are the trade-offs for those people, for those brands?
So whether you say something or you don't, you are saying something. And I believe that it's important for brands to actually own the narrative and shift the positioning and perception that people have about their brands and make a stance. Look at what's going on with Adidas and Yeezy, right?
Yeah.
You should always have a point of view, right? You should
example.
Always have otherwise the audience will just take it left field.
Yeah.
So it's in the best interest for brands to actually take a stance and make their position known when or if anybody associated with their brands are in a bad light.
Totally. I have seen a few brands really who really do not care about bad publicity, right? I've heard from a marketing manager say, you know what, bad publicity is publicity anyway. There is no good or bad publicity, right? So that brings us to the question of metrics or brand image or both, right? So I know I think I was in a meeting with a particular bank many years ago, right? And we were having a conversation that we mentioned a particular show, a very popular show. They're like, you know what? No. We have nothing to do with that, right? But I know people are we're actually going to extend like some sort of cover for publicity to them for free, right? But people are actually paying millions of dollars to be on that show, and their brands as well, right? So different brands have their values, right? Their brand values, what they represent, and for some it's just the numbers, and for some it's the image. What are we seeing as? For you, I mean, for the brands that you represent, which would you say is the dominant force in this matter?
That's a very good question, and I believe CMOs and marketing managers and brand managers all over the world have asked themselves that question. It's not easy, especially when you are having reports to the targets to achieve and all of that stuff. But I believe at the center of it, it should be the brand. It should be your values. It should be what do you stand for as a brand. Not just the short-term goals or the short-term achievements and the results that you get. You have to have the long play. And if you look at the big brands, the ones that have generational impact, they put their brands at first. They put their values first before they choose who to work with, before they choose what to sponsor, what to put their money behind. They look at all of those things. And for us as advertisers, there are three things that are important when you're choosing influencers, right? There is the brand. We talk about brand fit, we talk about brand safety. There is the influencer. Is there a synergy? Is there a connection? Are there common values between that influencer and yourself? And then there's the audience, the most important. Do you have shared audience? Is that influencer's audience your own audience as well, your own target audience?
Yeah.
If those three indices or pillars are together in sync, then you can move forward.
Yeah.
But you'll find out that the cases that we have where there's disparity or there's usually something out of sync there. That's really it.
I mean, yeah, I totally it's just like it's like a tobacco company trying to do something with a pastor. I mean, it really doesn't work, right? So there has to be,
if the pastor smokes.
Yeah, so that's questionable, especially in this part of the world.
Yeah.
Right. So you would go for brand safety. You go for the brand. You say, okay, I want my brand to be safe. So especially for startups, right? Startups just want numbers. They don't care. They put the. So I was discussing with someone who is not really a startup, right? I think he's an influencer, right? And he was trying to, I want to grow my platform. Where can I? Man, I heard like we could put our videos in some at some sites where they have a lot of traffic. He was mentioning some sites I don't want to mention here. So I was like, you want to put your videos there? He said, I don't care. As long as I have the eyeballs, I just want those eyeballs. Put those links there. People watch them, get the eyeballs. Like, wow, this is crazy. I mean, people would do anything just to get the eyeballs. But I also think that for startups who are trying to just survive, should they care about the brand image, or they should just survive any way they can, get the numbers? Okay, so I'll give you. Okay, so for fintech, so just like we have forbidden deals in marketing, right? In fintech, there's something called HR, high risk, right? So those are merchants that most fintech companies wouldn't want to touch. I mean, there's a lot we could talk about this, but I guess it has to be like an episode 2 for this conversation, right? Because it's getting really interesting, and we still have a lot of questions that we've not touched. So yeah, I think we'll cover most of the questions and most of these topic, especially high risk and forbidden deals in the episode 2.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much.
All right. Good.
All right, guys. So thank you so much for joining us for this first episode. Pretty short, but I'm sure you'll see us really, really soon for the next episode. Please don't forget to like this video, share and subscribe to this channel. And if you're listening to us, kindly share, spread the word basically. Thank you so much for joining us.